Very casual, don't worry about it. Right, I'm just going to talk into this thing just now and just have a wee introduction, if that's all right. Okay. Good evening, Talk Badminton listeners, watchers, whatever you're doing. Hope you're well. Today it's Tuesday, the 11th of January, 2022. Isn't that amazing? 2022 already. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube if you can, please. I'm not live on Twitch at the moment. Thanks again to YC Sports, always helps me. I'm sorry, Rich, sorry, John, have to put that in there. Apple Podcasts, you can hear this interview on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor on the Anchor app. And see if you're out on a road, if you're running, walking, do whatever you're doing, driving along in your car, and very boring commute, you can have a listen to me and my guest
I
for
wish,
today.
John
Hancock,
competition manager will do for now.
Competitions at Badminton England.
There is,
really?
Yes, there is.
Badminton
Yes,
England.
you would appreciate me trying to take his role just
Is that
now.
a similar thing? Is there a head of competition?
It's Mark Downey. It's Mark Downey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not yet. Give him a couple of... What's his name?
Right.
What's his name?
Right. That's
Mark Downey. Mark. John's after your job. We'll give him one. So what does a manager of competition?
Senior county championships. The county competition that we run year on year, season long. I basically facilitate the whole competition, along with our volunteer group that we put on the management group competition. We head that up. We regulate it. We make the arrangements. The competition with our Premiership division, which we host at the NBC. Then we drop down through the divisions to Division 4, regional divisions, and that's spread across the country. We've got last count 110 teams represented, and all to do with membership involvement, working with the counties to bring the players together and compete against each other, so we can crown our county champions at the end of the year. So many volunteers, and do you know what? They are
volunteers
so important in what we do. We can't do everything in terms of our competition without them. From county secretaries, chairs, team managers who bring all of the players together to represent their counties. To our volunteer tech officials, umpires, line judges. Brilliant team of referees. You know, all of these give up their time, bring the competition together. And it just doesn't come together without them. We're very fortunate that we've got a brilliant workforce of volunteers to get the championships up and running.
I interviewed a couple of umpires, Freak and Kretchen, in the Netherlands, and it was a totally new thing. Umpire. I mean, I've never interviewed an umpire before. That was my first, and obviously there's a lot of press about umpires and all the kind of things that go on, and they're so in the center of badminton. They're so in the center of the game. You know, if there's controversy, there's a big thing in Denmark recently. With Mette Poulsen, they get such a hard time, and it was just astonished me how much of it was voluntary. You know how those people are sitting in the chair, and speaking to the lady. I pronounced her name wrong, so I'm embarrassed to say it. But anyway, I interviewed her with Freak, and she young family, she works full time. And she spends her holidays traveling around the world umpiring. So, imagine taking your summer holidays away. You get. I actually asked her that. I said, so you get like 30 days a year, and you on the weekends, or you spend a week going to Indonesia, you go to India, you go all around the world and play, and your families jeopardize their holiday. I said, how does that?
Yeah.
She's like, it just astonished me that it was all.
It is.
It
is.
Especially
Yeah.
at the cost. I mean, and obviously
the amount of time that they give,
first of all, through
training through the ranks to get to get to the certified levels to be able to get onto court and be able to get international recognition around the world and be a part of these events. Do you know what, with the umpires, though, they get the best seat in the house. So why not get involved and get front row viewing of Badminton around the world. We're very fortunate. We've got an incredible team of tech officials, referees, and judges, and they go around the world. And they give up the time and their own money, their holiday time to be involved with the competition. But some of the experiences that they get and the opportunities that they get, it's phenomenal. In badminton, I started when.
And how did you get into it? How did you get started?
So I was badminton's
within
been in
Badminton
my blood
England
since
as
I was
well.
very little.
How did you get the job in
I
the
started
first place?
when I was 5. That's like 30 years ago now. Crikey! Don't tell anyone. But yeah, that was back in the day where you couldn't buy short rackets. So my dad had to cut down my racket because I was too short in the leg, so stop it scraping along the floor. So I've been playing or being involved with badminton for 30 years. I've been at Badminton England for 5 years. 5 years in total now, and I'm coming up to pretty much.
How did it start, John? How did you get the job? Did you see advertisements?
I've always been involved with sports.
And what was the job when you got the job? What was it?
Development coaching cricket at Worcestershire Cricket, and that was my first job out of uni. So I was at Worcester Uni.
Right.
Graduated out of that with a master's in sports coaching. Fell straight into cricket coaching at Worcestershire, just down the road. Delivering cricket coaching in the schools, and the role came at Badminton England as a competitions manager, and the rest is history, as they say. So so 5 wonderful years with Badminton England. Yeah. So 5 years old as a local church group as a kid. Do
you remember
where the lines used to run underneath the radiator because the hall was that small, and then it just went from there really. Just junior clubs coaching Friday evening, Saturday evening. So from 5, and then I just graduated through up all the age groups.
Was it a big club? Was it
Saturday afternoons?
So what age were you? Did you say when you first started?
I followed my sister actually, so it was my sister's fault. So she started
Who did you go with? Was it family?
And then her friend and our dad were coaches, so we just kind of carried on with the coaching groups with them. We both got good enough to represent Sussex at junior level, and then I kind of fell out of the county badminton scene for a little while, for a few years, but then picked it up when I got to Worcester Uni, and then I started representing Worcestershire, and doing a lot of local club badminton. It was quite a decent badminton scene around there, and then finally made a move to the old enemy with Warwickshire, where I joined with my wife. So I'm not at her level. She's up there, and I'm just some of these other muckers at the other end of the court, dreaming of playing at that level. But do you know what? No, I don't. So where we moved out
and do you still play club
Birmingham,
badminton
where we moved in together, we played a little bit there, but I never rejoined a club after we moved here. So I keep in touch with the guys in the office, and we obviously we play at a lunchtime. It obviously gets very competitive, and we're all of a decent and a similar sort of level. So it does get quite competitive. But yeah, it's great fun. I enjoy it. I don't know whether it's a perk where we're absolutely knackered.
Is that a perk? Is that one of the perks of the job?
It's a lunchtime. Unfortunately, I have to commute a little bit down into Milton Keynes. So
do you do it on a lunchtime or after work?
Because we've got to get home for the kids' pickup of an evening. So yeah, so lunchtime, and then there's 4 bright red beetroot looking
nice. So lunchtime,
at a desk for the afternoon, and they're going on to team calls and trying to get some work done. But not everyone. No, not everyone.
So is it fair to say that everybody that works at Badminton England plays badminton?
And an appreciation for a sport that anybody comes into Badminton England, so which is wonderful. But I think you've got to have a certain propensity for the sport, and you've got to really kind of be got something going on in the background to kind of appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's. I'm encouraged to hear that there are people within Badminton England that love the sport. You'd hate it to be because, I have this. It is, it is a business, right? It has to be funding. It has to be. So you do need, you do need people who are just got good business heads. But one can take away from the other. I think you've got to have a balance. You need to have, you've got to have people that know the commercials, that know about sponsorship, and doesn't necessarily mean that person is particularly good at.
And I think what we've got and certainly had for a number of years is really good people that are really passionate about what they do. I think the result of the pandemic. And obviously the funding cuts 4 or 5 years ago after Rio, we've lost some really good people, and with our numbers have gone down considerably, really? But we've got some really good people still at the company that are thoroughly engaged with what we do, passionate about what we do, want to do the best for badminton, and we're all working our butts off to bring the sport back and get people back on court, because it's been a long time that this pandemic has been going on. And what we get most joy from is just seeing people back on court. So
And how do you go about communicating with counties, with different counties, and obviously bringing them all together in competitions is one thing. And how do you liaise with volunteers? How do you have groups of secretaries for each club?
It varies from county to county.
How does the county work? How does the infrastructure work?
Your regular kind of club structure with chairs, secretaries, your treasurers and that kind of thing, your team captains, that sort of thing. They all come together to try and bring people together and practice and play club matches, and then kind of another layer to that is your club leagues and then your county leagues, and they all work together to try and bring players up on a pathway from club badminton to represent your county. And it's my job to then. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
Have you had a look at the Irish system?
Do you know what? We don't.
Have you had a look at the Irish system?
Me personally, I don't do a great deal.
Do you know about the Irish system? I love it. I love it.
National associations, but we do have Scottish, Welsh, and Irish teams in our senior county championships. So unfortunately, it's one of the issues that we're facing at the moment due to travel. Some of the restrictions, unfortunately, we've lost a number of those teams, and they won't be returning this year. So we look forward to inviting them back when they can, and that's really important that we keep those doors open, and those building those relationships, that those teams can come back to us.
Yeah. What interested me?
Mm-hmm.
What interested me about the Irish system is the idea of grading players across the whole country, and actually having a system where every player in every club has a grade A to G, and then they have an A championship, and then A's plays against A's and B's, and so on and so forth. And at the end of the season, they have a tournament in the main, in central Dublin, bringing all the A's, B's, C, D, all the way to G's together to play. And how great is that? I just think the idea of grading. And I interviewed Dave McGill and Daniel McGee have been kind of instrumental in and very obviously they're not themselves. I'm not saying that, but I just love the idea that somehow you can create a system where every player in every club has a grade and they play against people of the same level, and it's not necessarily about a club versus club thing going on. I mean, I'm in Edinburgh, and there's several clubs around Edinburgh, but the idea that somebody creates a system where you grade against other people, and then you become graded across the whole country, and then there's a final for your grade.
Not yet. You've
and
just
so
given me
inclusive.
some
I
ideas.
just love that. Is there anything like
do you know
that
what?
in England at all?
We're doing a massive piece of work. There's a couple of guys in our team, Martin Haxton and Mark Downey. They're working really hard on a new grading and ranking system that is inclusive of kind of club badminton, and more or less, I think it encompasses every kind of layer of competition, and it inputs into this ranking system, and there's some sort of algorithm involved with it that kind of assesses your level and expected win ratio, and kind of the percentage of your expected result against a certain player, and it kind of gives you the points according to that. So if you're massively expected to beat somebody, then you might not necessarily get so many points. But if you David and Goliath, and you end up beating them, and then you get the points rewarded for that. So watch this space. There's something coming soon, but I'm not sure whether that kind of is reflective of what the Irish system does. But we're hopeful that this new system will be more reflective of current form and how people are playing. So it'll be a better way of reflecting everybody's ability level.
Yeah. And so when you obviously have these do you administer the county competitions between counties? Do counties communicate directly, or are you instrumental in bringing it together? And is it different venues you deal with, or do they deal with their own thing? And you bring
instrumental, Martin. How does
the county competition structure work?
Essentially, myself and
the team
of volunteers, we set up the competition structure. We've got our divisions from Premiership. We've got one division in Premiership, and then below that we've got the Championships. We've got Division 1 split into two in the North and South regions, and then Divisions 2, 3, and 4 are split regionally. I think we've got 4 regions in Divisions 2 and 3. But then it's down to us to work out a system of the scheduling. So we play the competition over 3 weekends. This year we're running it in January, February, and March. In previous years we've done it November, January, and March. However, because of the return to play after COVID, or certainly the end of some of the lockdowns, counties were at different stages of returning to play and getting people back on court. So we had to remove the November weekend, and we've now fitted that in February. So we've got a really intensive program of competition these next 2 or 3 months to run the competition. So which actually we made the most of the gap before Christmas without that that county weekend in November. So to support the counties and bring in players back to play and represent them, we for the first time we've put on a Champion of Champions event where all of our restricted. All of our county run their own internal restricted competitions, so they get their county champions across each of the disciplines, and we invited all of the champions to come and compete against each other down at National Badminton Centre just before the weekend before Christmas. The idea was well received by all the counties. The players absolutely loved it. Unfortunately, numbers were down because of kind of the worry about coming into lockdown, travels, and that type of thing. Yeah, but as a concept, it's been well received, and we're looking to try and put that back in place next year, with the view of trying to grow it as much as possible. Because what we found is once players realise that there was an additional layer of reward for not only entering but winning their own county restricted, they're starting to re-engage with the counties a bit more. So we're going to look at working to promote that even more next year, and try and get some players back on court for each of the counties. Oh, crikey.
How many players do you think there are?
It's difficult. You say prominent counties. Premiership has been won by Middlesex for the last 3 or 4 years, I think. But you've got the likes of Avon, who have got 6 teams entered into the competition. You've got the likes of Yorkshire, Lancashire, Warwickshire, all with sort of 4 or 5 teams in there. We've got Guernsey, who have just entered a second team and are coming in into competition this year. So it varies, to be honest. And the nice thing with, I guess, with all competition where it's set up with divisional structures, each team is able to find their own level. And we've got some fantastic badminton at the Premiership and Championship division. We've looked to stream it in previous years, and we look to try and get that promoted a little bit further. At the moment, no. We've had to kind of put in
does that not happen at the moment?
Resources elsewhere. So unfortunately, we won't be able to put that back in place. But we've got Badminton BETV up and running, so we're looking to try and use that as a platform. Unfortunately, won't happen for this season. I think our focus has been mainly around trying to get people back on court, which is the most important thing, and then we'll look to try and build it again from there. It's our own kind of streaming service.
What is BETV? What is it? What is
brought that in within sort of the last 18 months or so. So Badminton England members have a login, and they can look at some of the videos. And we did a stream from the All England last year, so the matches were up on that. So that's a perk for a member. So a little plug there. So anybody watching this, get a Badminton England membership and get the perks of Badminton England TV, and get access to some of our competition that we're running, and we're looking to try and put on a streaming platform.
Yes, fab. I love watching badminton online. I love it. I've been watching a few on YouTube. The PWS
so
have got
much
some
of it, isn't it?
great matches. I go back in time. There's an endless supply of games, and I decided it was going to. Oh, it's fantastic to watch. I love it. I recorded a game the other day with, it was Watanabe and Endo. I think it was the final of the 2020 All England final, and it was the most unbelievable game. And I recorded it with commentary, and I couldn't upload it because of copyright.
I remember sitting in the stands
because I just have my
the end of the All England week. So that's another part of my role is managing the volunteers at the Onyx All England, and towards the end of the week we rewarded ourselves with a bit of time sitting in the seats and watching the end of that game. It was incredible. Those guys are something else, aren't they?
Absolute Watanabe's my absolute hero. I love the All England. I actually love the All England. Do you know what I love about it the most? This is really sad and really geeky. But the bridge. Everybody in the world should hang about at the bridge. They should go to Starbucks, they should buy a cappuccino, and they should sit on the wall and just stand there for like an hour and just watch who comes by. And you just see these faces and you think, oh my God, I got a photograph with PV Sindhu and her dad. That was funny. Watanabe, Yamaguchi outside the cost. You can't help but go over that bridge. There's nowhere else to go. I'm sorry, you've got no escape. You're gonna have to go over the bridge. And you know what? I'm going to be standing
for the players as they're coming in for the hotel. So I'll go back and report to my manager. Yes. That Martin's hanging around on the bridge outside.
You're right. You're right. Security. I'm gonna be like some weirdo with a long raincoat on. Not at all. I'm very respectful, but they're just, when you see these legends. But what's funny is when you're in the hotel and you're sitting eating breakfast and they're all there. That's what gets you, and then all the staff are serving breakfast.
We all get starstruck. We wander around the venue and you see them backstage. You see them on the final warm-up area before they go through the curtain to get out onto court, and you're standing there, obviously socially distanced last year because of everything going on. And you're like, there's Victor Axelsen next to you, and you're thinking, God, we're so lucky, what we do. So it's brilliant.
I know.
Yes. So
have you ever played?
So we were so lucky. I think it was in my first year. It might have been 2016 or 2017 All England, where the scheduling was slightly different. So there was a delay in start. I think it was the Friday, and the event staff were invited to bring the kit and go out on the courts and play. It was incredible. There was nothing like it. It was so hot as well.
Come on.
Yeah, the lights are just beaming down, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. You're not going to get anything like that. Oh yeah, obviously.
Did you try and see how high you could clear?
It wasn't that impressive, to be honest. I think.
How high?
No, I don't think we were allowed to do that.
And what shuttles did you use? Did you use the tournament shuttle?
I think we all.
Or did you take? Or did you take a tube of AS30s?
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Yeah, I think it's I'd love to have a shot. And tell me about you telling me about the para badminton that's on before the start of the All England? What's the chat with that? So what's they play? What is the competition that goes with the paras on the Paralympic squad on the All England before? Quite often I've come in early to events at the All England.
And so in previous years,
what is that
the
event?
Para squad have
been invited
to come and play before their players started. So I think in the past it's been semi-finals day, if memory serves correctly. So the doors, as soon as the venue doors are open, the guys are there out on court. Right. And I really would encourage people that haven't come or certainly haven't seen much of the para badminton to get a ticket and come in early, because to see what they do is incredible. Yes. The work that Richard Morris and the Mark Beach and the para team have done to prepare those guys, and just the results that they got at Tokyo was just incredible. I'm not sure if it's a spoiler alert, but I think we're looking at the opportunity to try and get the guys down again this year. So that would be incredible to give them an opportunity, a platform to publicise opportunities.
I loved it. I love coming to the All England, but my favourite days, I think, personally, are Wednesday to Friday. I get a week ticket,
more courts, but there's more courts. You can sit wherever you like.
Freedom. I just love
you can
the
pick and choose who you can watch.
Go in and but the players are fresh as well. They come in, they're full of buzz, they're straight on court. You know, they haven't been beasted over the last 3 days. And it's when you watch it on the Wednesday and Thursday, you realise how hard they go to get through to the Saturday and Sunday. So the best games, honestly, to my mind,
I'm not sure I would
Wednesday, Thursday,
I would
Friday.
suggest that the quality of a Saturday or Sunday is any less, though, to be fair. I mean, they're still pretty handy, though, aren't they?
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying it's less. But what I'm saying is, the gusto they give to get through is critical, right? Getting through is critical, and there's a lot of big. There's a lot of upsets always, and you see people, you know, who you would never expect to go out, and then you see kind of there's just been some amazing badminton and some real I just absolutely love it. The speed, I'm just in awe of it. And anybody that I actually got to go by when I first went in 2019, it was because a friend of mine from Edinburgh had applied to be a line judge, and he'd bought a ticket. He bought a season ticket. He applied to be a line judge. Didn't know he was going to get in, and then got a letter through saying, or an email through saying, you've been selected to be a line judge. Didn't need his ticket. Bought his ticket. Came down, and I never looked back. I stay at the Block Hotel in the Jewelry Quarter, and I go in there, and I go to my seat. My routine is I'll walk along the canal. It's probably about a mile walk from the Jewelry Quarter, right? Over the bridge onto Broad Street into Sainsbury's Extra, and just buy lorry loads of sweets and rubbish, and just literally walk in there, come up with a bag of shopping. They must see me coming and think, what's that guy got in the Sainsbury bag? How much stuff has he got in there? And I don't know how much rubbish they find on the floor in that place, but there must be a lot of snacks, because I go through lorry loads. And
so you leave early?
At 10 o'clock in the
morning. You leave early at 10 o'clock at night? Games are still going on. I just question your stability, your stamina. You know, get through that.
It feels like that's. I know. my consistency. So very good. So let's go back to your badminton if we could, Don.
First club.
What was the name of your first club?
Probably be Civil Service Badminton Club in Hastings. Yeah, I think one of my coaches dragged me along to one of the adult badminton sessions. I must have been about 15, 16, something like that when I joined the seniors.
And what age were you then, John?
First senior club, yeah. So I joined. Obviously, I did all the coaching.
That was your first club,
and I represented Hastings in kind of a local competition, and then went up through the ranks at county junior session with Sussex.
Yeah.
But my first senior club was with Civil Service, and we had some cracking players, senior county players at that club, which I learned a lot from. So I was very fortunate with my education with some of the players that I played with. So it's a lot of fun memories. You're dragging my history back up, Martin. I appreciate this. Thank you. There was a number within the team. So,
and who was your first coach? Your first coach?
John Blatchley, Phil Harrod. So Phil Harrod was kind of the captain of the Civil Service, and he was the one that dragged me into kind of club badminton. I had Sonia Sargent and Di Ford, who were on my Saturday groups as a juniors, and lots of fun memories of those coaching sessions. They were wonderful. No.
Do you remember the very first thing you learned being coached? No. Do you remember the very first thing that somebody said to you? No, that's how you do it. No. Do you remember what was the most critical thing you learned? Do you think? What was the first?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. Do you think
my mum and dad played when they were much younger and before they had me and my sister, and they drilled into us just to kind of enjoy whatever we do. So Dad was a hard taskmaster at times, and he was like, if he saw that we weren't doing something properly, he'd kind of give us a little bit of a nudge and say, come on, do it properly, and then we'd kind of refocus, and we'd end up doing it. Not to a high standard. They played low.
And did your parents
didn't
play,
play
John?
to
Did they
a very high
play?
standard, to be fair. They played a local
Like when you
club
played, did they
badminton
play?
back in the day, and they had kind of the links and social networks around it. Didn't take it too seriously, but took it seriously, if you know what I mean. There's some real hard games, and Dad would still talk about the old days and playing. But yeah, I think they were very proud when both my sister and I started playing county badminton.
And when you went to play badminton, county badminton, were you generally with your sister when you
so
moved
lucky.
about?
Our parents just took us
parents
everywhere, no
transporting you about?
complaints, just giving us as much opportunity to play as possible. Well, yeah, true.
I tell you, John, that wasn't luck.
That's true,
That wasn't
actually.
luck. That's pure hard work. That is. I think it's selfless. Don't you think? Your parents is amazing.
Unfortunately, there's 5 years between me and my sister, so we are in different age groups. So we're not necessarily all at the same place or at the same time. So yeah, we're very difficult to kind of manage in that sort of sense because we're never in the same place. But she's 5 years older, yeah.
And was she 5 years older or younger? Did you say, John? Sorry. She's 5. And how competitive? How competitive are you with your sister? You know, if it was just when you were younger and it was just you and your sister on court, or did that happen with a 5-year difference?
Never really.
Did you ever? Do you remember being on court with your sister and thinking, "I'm going to beat you"? Or what was that?
And then well, Dad certainly gave up when we were beating her, and then we kind of joined up. So we paired up. So we played a number of tournaments, and I remember it. We played tournaments together. Yeah. So local tournaments down in Hastings and Bexhill.
Did you? Mixed.
The very last tournament, I can still remember the very last tournament my dad ever played was when we played together in, I think, like a graded tournament that we played locally, and we won it. And he was absolutely puffing because it was wiped out before. He got off court and he basically just collapsed off to the side, and he looks at me and it's like, why are you not breaking out in a sweat? And so, because they're playing on you, Dad. You know, so very fond memories, and I don't think he's picked up a racket since. And this is going back about 25 years now. So yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Really? And does he not play now? Quite a lot of people will take it back up later. I'm finding that now more and more people are saying, "Do you know what? I just need to go and find a nice social
he
club
took a
and
lot
get
of
back."
joy in watching me
I
and my
love
sister
that.
play. And then obviously I played a lot of cricket and got into cricket as well. So I think for him, he was quite happy to kind of finish on a high and winning that competition. He had various different kind of shoulder and leg injuries and bits and pieces, so he kind of stopped after that because it started to hurt quite a lot. So yeah, I don't think he appreciated when they started picking on him and say, "Come on, young'un, you should be doing a lot of the leg work." I said, "I'm more than happy to." You know, but you're doing so well. We're winning. So no, he stopped on a high, and he's not looked back. So he's got that protected.
Did you ever want to be? Did you ever want to? What age did you stop? Well, I mean, you obviously played county. When did you stop? And were there people around you that would want to make a career of it, or what was that like? You know, when you got to that age, 17, 18, what was your thought process and what you wanted to do when you were at school and stuff?
What we're finding in the sport anyway is that there's a natural kind of drop off after kind of 17, 18, and we do lose vast numbers of membership at that age. And I was one of those stereotypical ones that drop out. And I think for me, my example is I was focusing on my cricket. I was at that stage where I was doing pretty well in both sports. I did, yeah, and I was very lucky.
You made a choice, kind of thing.
I worked hard for the opportunities, and I took a year out. I went to South Africa to play cricket for the winter. Came back and I took was focusing a lot of the cricket at university. I picked it up a little bit again at university and started to play competition. And actually, it was then that the badminton started taking back off again. And kind of realised then that the cricket wasn't going to take off as a career pathway for me. So just kind of accepted that and just trying to enjoy the sport for what it is on both cases. And for me, I got the best of both worlds. I was playing badminton throughout the winter. I was playing cricket in the summer. It was amazing. So I've made the most of what I could get out of the sport, and I've took it as far as I can in terms of my participation. I'm at an age now where I can start playing masters badminton. I know, I can't believe it. You know, look at this, look at me. You know, I still feel like a young'un, but no, I qualify for masters badminton. So looking for opportunities to start competing. Yeah.
What, 35?
Yeah, so I do. I'm not as competitive as my wife. She's not here to defend herself at the moment. So I look to try and get her. I did, yeah. We met on.
Did you meet her?
Guernsey?
Did you meet her through badminton?
A senior silver. Our eyes met across the court. It was so romantic, and then she smashed the shuttle at me, and then I've never competed against her since.
Really?
No. So we did meet in Guernsey. She played for Warwickshire. After numerous attempts to try and get her to transfer to Worcestershire, she won, and I ended up transferring to Warwickshire instead. So, and then I think I've played like 1 or 2 times for Warwickshire, but work commitments and kind of she took the focus. Yeah, she's out playing at the moment. Yeah, she left me at home to put the kids to bed, and she's gone and swanned off to play some club badminton. But she plays county seniors for Warwickshire as well, so she'll be competing this weekend for Warwickshire. But yeah, we've got a decent balance. She does the playing, and I do all the organising.
How often does a county player play? Typically, what do you think about? I mean, how many nights are in a typical club within the counties? How many club nights are there?
About the difference between players at the top end in the Premiership and above. They're playing daily, probably. And then you get to kind of Division 3 and 4, and kind of the better end of a better end of club badminton, and they're probably playing still 2-3 times a week as well. So you got your club matches, you got your county training, you got club nights as well. And my wife, for instance, I mean, she'll organise one-off sessions. She'll meet up with groups of friends and go and grab a court locally where they can all meet up and get some games together as well. So okay.
How much do you think typically a club costs?
For a member of a club, that varies from club to club. I mean, you can have clubs with membership of about 20 quid a year, up to clubs with over 100. You know, pick a value. It varies so much. It all depends on kind of the facilities, the access that those clubs are going to have, how often they're going to be playing, and how many nights they're going to play. The agreements that they got with shuttles, and do you know what? It varies so much, and different clubs will have different arrangements for what they do. And even the counties, they'll have different payment structures for their own county memberships, and it varies from county to county. Really good question, and to be honest, I don't necessarily understand all of the complexity about it. So part of the county membership will have a badminton affiliation, to it as well. So part of that will come in to facilitate some of the workings and goings on with administration. So it is quite complex, and I'm not going to say too much because I'm probably going to keep it wrong. So
and varied. No, but varied. It can be various different things. But a county will have their own memberships as well, as if almost like. I mean, I guess I look at like Scotland might be its own county effectively. I know that
I think we've
have an affiliation to Scottish
got arrangements with
and each club pays an annual fee
external
for that,
England counties, the Welsh, Scottish, and Irish counties. We've they've got their own affiliations direct to their national governing bodies. They are, and we've exactly. We try and
but they are like a county.
Treat them as
they're like a county, right?
A team entity. And when they come into the senior county championships, they have their entry fee, which they still need to pay to get into the competition. But the competition doesn't make a profit. You know, the competition pays for itself. All of the money goes to the venue hire, covering the costs of kind of the volunteer expenses to kind of get to and fro. So, you know, whatever is invested by the counties, it goes back to the counties as part of this competition. So,
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I kind of almost. I know it's Badminton England, but it feels like Badminton GB. Do you know, it feels. I know it's Badminton England, but it really does administer all of the badminton. Well, I know it doesn't. I mean, Ireland has got very, very strict.
I think for
kind of their own infrastructure. I know
there's
still.
Maybe. I think certainly for
there should be a Badminton GB. Maybe that
the
should
international
exist.
kind of circuits, there is a GB kind of setup, obviously. But for us at the SEC, we are after as much high level quality competition in terms of the teams as possible. You know, so we offered it out to Scotland, Wales, Ireland many years ago. They came across and started competing against our counties, and it's great to have them involved. It's a shame we're not going to have all of them this year, but you know, we'll look to welcome them back as and when they can come back to us. It is.
Yeah, it's a very different time, isn't it? And so you going back
we
to
have
the All England.
230 signed up for this year.
How many
and
volunteers
that's inclusive of 80 tech officials, 80-ish tech officials, so line judges and umpires. So go on. Yeah. Umpires, line judges, referees. So the referees are assigned by the BWF, and we have one local referee, English referee that we provide.
So can you explain that to me? I'm used to seeing line judges, right? I'm used to seeing umpires. What does a referee do? Is that when the player disagrees with the umpire in the corner,
guys in red jumpers, they're our referees team. So at the All England, we have, I think it's a team of 4. 3 of them will be all 4 of them are BWF accredited. The main referee and the 2 assistant referees are international, and then we provide a home referee, which is one of our highest qualified referees on our books.
Are they all on all the time, or is
so
one cover the other?
They'll be there or thereabouts on the floor, watching over the competition. They'll take their breaks and cover each other when they can. Yeah, so they oversee everything to do with the competition to ensure
it's always
that
covered. Yeah, there's always somebody there.
Everything is in line with international regulations, and are responsible for leading and directing the teams of umpires and line judges to facilitate the competition as part of the regulations.
How does an umpire call the referee?
So All England they'll be mic'd up, and I'm not sure if there's going to be any sort of specific call that they have to do, but they'll raise their hands, and that's why we got a team of referees that they keep their eyes on going on court. It's a bit harder on day one with 5 courts, and there's a team of 3 or 4. So, like, which court are you looking at? But
yeah, I was gonna say,
and it's hard when it's lost in translation as well if they're not all speaking fluent English. But no, they do a great job, and whilst I've been here, I can't remember a point where there's been any issues between our team of referees, and we've been blessed with some really good tech officials. Yeah, always. Yeah, always. Sometimes there's
is there difficulties with language?
Just knowing people that come across if they.
Do you have to have volunteers from different parts of the world as well? Do you have to? Do you
the tech officials is slightly different to the team of volunteers that we got. So the BWF will reserve a number of international qualified umpires. You have to kind of provide neutrality purposes. Obviously, you can't have anybody from the same country officiating on a match with players from the same country. So they have to cover for those eventually. Yeah. So I think even even last year under the pandemic, we
I didn't know that.
had a reduction of international officials come over, but even I think the guys did an amazing job. They managed to facilitate it. I don't think there was a case where there was an umpire that officiated a match with players of their own country. So they did a great job. And then from the finals day, they have to have enough umpires on standby just in case they got just to ensure that the neutrality for tech officials.
Yeah, it's amazing things that you might take for granted that other people wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have a clue anything about
over 200. So I think
there's just so many people.
The largest number of volunteers we had was year before the pandemic was 250. We had all told, and this year we are, like I say, 230. So we're looking at like 80 tech officials. My maths is that good. So 150 volunteers, and we are going to have more teams that doing different functions throughout the venue.
Really. And can I ask you, you maybe don't know the answer to this question, but what's the sponsorship structure for it? How do people? Is sponsorship good generally?
The ticket sales is a big part. We've got a wonderful relationship with Yonex.
Ticket sales, that's a big
so
part.
They provide a massive amount of support, shuttles, and there's a few of those going about.
Shuttles, a lot of shuttles.
You should see the lorry load that they come in and then take them away afterwards. But Yonex provide such such a service to us and provide through the sponsorship. They're very protective of the shuttles, Martin. They say here's the shuttles, you go use them, but we'll have them back afterwards. So that's how it happens. Yeah. Do you know what? They actually take the shuttles and they reapply the feathers back onto the
genuinely they take away the shuttles. Administrative. Are you a very organized person? I guess you have to be very organized.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? It was a challenge going from a very practical job in my old job at cricket and doing cricket coaching, and coming into my role at Badminton England is highly administrative. But you know, it's been a wonderful journey for me to develop those skills, but seeing something come together that you've worked hard to try and bring together, and I've used the SCC, the Senior County Championships, as an example. You see all the work that you put in to bring the volunteers together to manage their county teams, to bring all the tech officials, to get all of the venues ready, to get all the shuttles out, get the regs all sorted, and just to get the competition on. And then we set up the hall for the Premiership at the Badminton Centre in Milton Keynes, and you see the players coming in, and you see the umpires get up on the chairs and they say "Lovell play," and the level of badminton is just incredible. And just thinking, this is what it's all about. You know, I'm very lucky, and it's probably part of the reason why I don't play anymore, or certainly as much as what I used to, is because I get the best seat in the house, other than kind of the umpires that are up in the chair. You know, I get to organise this competition, and the players come and they play and they deliver such incredible badminton. It's just wonderful to watch, you know. And then we do the same for the All England. Bring all the volunteers together. We bring all the suppliers, all the skilled workers to kind of set the venue up, um, and provide everything for everybody on site, back a house, and then that first shot was hit on the Wednesday, in front of the crowd, and we're looking forward to having the crowds this year. And it just makes everything all worth it. It's we're very lucky with what we do. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Anybody is a vested interest in the sport. You know, people may have just picked it up, so they've seen it at the Olympics or Commonwealth Games. You know, they've seen it on the telly. They've ignited a fire in them, you know, and they come onto kind of our social medias, they see it on our websites, we see information about getting involved. They, they just want to be involved, you know, and they just come and come down and watch it. It's just a spectacle. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't, don't, don't get me wrong. I mean, the vast majority of the spectators at the All England will be badminton people. So there'll be players, obviously, and there'll be families of kids or whoever that have gone to play. So they'll all go together and get a family ticket and go and watch. But you know, there will be some people, and it would take our volunteers. I mean, a large majority of them will not have picked up a racket. They are part of a family with us at the Onyx All England, and they keep coming back year on year, and they love what they do, and they love being with the people that they work with, and a lot of them, the volunteers, that they don't actually get to be in the arena bowl and watch the badminton a lot of the time. And certainly last year, where we had bubble system within the arena, where people had to stick to certain areas of the venue. So a lot of them didn't actually get in to see any of the badminton. And they just love it for the experience of being involved with some of the people that are involved with this. So we're very fortunate. We've got a very dedicated volunteer workforce, and they keep coming back year on year. And we like I say, it is a family, and we do try and look after them as much as we can, and they do tend to keep coming back, which is wonderful. Wow, that's flown, isn't it? I can talk all England and SCC until to my heart's content. So no, Martin. Great stuff. Yeah. No, 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 you can't do that. Not in all England. No, you don't get enough of that. So no, you'll still love it, and you'll be still there after that last shuttle's hit on a Sunday afternoon. Sounds good, Martin. And thank you very much for the opportunity of coming and speaking to you. It's been really enjoyable. Thank you. No, and you. Ta-da. Cheers, mate. Bye bye.